Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about iDOL anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And we're back, baby!
Pew, 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 pew. Did you miss us, everybody? Sorry, we had to take a week off because stuff got busy.
Stuff did happen, but now we're back. But we're back with an iDOL adjacent show.
Yeah, I was thinking like right before we started recording, I'm like, this isn't really idols, is it? Because it isn't really. How on a scale of not idols to 100% yes, definitely idols, where would you say these girlies fall on the scale?
I mean, okay, so it is a Bushiroad. Like, they're the ones who made the show.
Bushimo.
So all of Bushiroad has like a little hint of idleness, but they're definitely theater girls.
A trace of theater, or a trace of Idaru.
But it's like musical theater, so
Yeah, a non-committal shrug out of 10.
A non-committal shrug out of 10 is a great way to put it. But
Yep.
because it is a Bushiroad, a lot of people who are into idols and idol anime are also really into Revue Starlight.
Yeah, which, by the way, that's the first time we've said what we're talking about.
Oh, we're talking about Revue Starlight. If you didn't read the episode title.
If you didn't read the episode title, now you know what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Welcome to our podcast where we never do a good introduction.
Hey, it was a good segue.
We used to do good introductions, and now it's just like, I want to talk about idols. What show are we doing? I don't fucking care. Idol time.
Let's talk about idols.
Idorus, let's heckin' go.
Yeah. So, Star, what do you know about Revue Starlight?
I know. Okay, so full disclosure, I have listened to at least the first part of a different podcast that covered this show.
Ooh.
I don't remember much.
Okay.
I just know it's based off Takarazuka.
Yes.
I know that I like the outfits that the girls wear.
Yes.
And I vaguely remember time travel being involved. Oh, and there's a giraffe.
There's definitely a giraffe. So you've heard a decent amount about Revue Starlight.
I could not tell you what the plot is, but like I could recognize about half of the cast if you put them in a lineup. I'd be like, that's a Revue Starlight.
Hey.
About half of them. Some of these girls in this picture you send me, I have not seen before.
Well, that
but
is
like
fine.
there's the banana hair one.
Banana. So.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned Takarazuka Review, so just a brief overview for our audience who may not know. We talked about it like really briefly in Wake Up Girls because there was another reference to a totally not Takarazuka Review there.
Hikarizuka, I believe is the parody name.
But it is a real life theater company in Japan. It's like over 100 years old. And one of the things that's really notable about it is it's all women for all roles.
Yes. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Hooray for the gays! I keep hearing this sound clip on this is a slight segue, but I keep hearing this sound clip on TikTok that has just wormed its way into my brain and will not let go. It's Hatsune Miku going, hope everyone is having a good Pride Month! Shout out to the gays! And I'm like, it was playing on, I was shopping at Walmart earlier, and it just kept going through my head on repeat. And I'm like, this is a weird vibe for a Wednesday afternoon.
Hope everyone is having a great Pride Month! Shout out to the gays!
We stan our idol queen, so Hatsune
Shout
Miku.
out to the gays! Anyway, yes.
So Takarazuka Review, it's also known for being like, well, it's famous, so it's one of the hardest theaters to get into. And it also has its own like school that like basically they funnel students from the school into the Takarazuka formal.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much. I remember that being a thing in the anime, but I wasn't sure how real to life that was.
It's pretty real to life, except it sounds like the real life school is like way stricter than anime school is.
Oh, probably. It's a fucking anime, Sarah.
Yes, there's not as much restrictions on having brightly colored hair in anime school.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about Takarazuka Review, as a general, is they became really known for having like a big lead who plays the masculine roles. And that person's generally considered like the star of the show, right? And like everyone else is supporting, even like the second best star is like the leading lady like the
Yeah.
leading feminine figure, but it's always like the leading male is the big headliner.
Yeah. I also remember everybody who had Star Talks about Ace Attorney on their bingo sheets cross it off, because I'm pretty sure there was at least one Takarazuka play based on Ace Attorney. I'm not sure if there's more. I know that there is at least one, possibly more. I don't remember.
When I was looking it up, it seems like it's not very common for them to do like video game or anime shows, the Takarazuka Review. So Ace Attorney is like a special case, which is great.
Yeah, well, it's because Ace Attorney is good. Spoiler alert.
There you go. So Revue Starlight itself, it's a Bushiroad. Again, they did the Love Live, they did the Bang Dream, they did D4DJ.
Bushimo. I'm just gonna keep doing that. That's, you know what that is, right?
Yeah, yeah, Bushiroad.
It's the little like when you boot up the Love Live game, you hear a little voice file of one of the characters saying the name of the company. And for the brief amount of time that I played the Love Live mobile game, it did just get stuck in my head right next to Hatsune Miku saying Happy Pride Month, shout out to the gays.
It is another one of those multimedia franchises. But something that's fun about Revue Starlight is its initial iteration was a series of musical stage plays, which is great to me.
So it's a stage play about a company that produces stage plays?
I'm not sure about like the plot of the original stage play, but I'm assuming yes.
Inception?
Yes.
How deep does it go?
And then from the stage plays, it turned into a manga, and it turned into an anime, and then it turned into a mobile game. And as we'll get in through the plot review Starlight, it's a really fucking weird anime, and I'm like really like, I don't know what the plot of the mobile game is, and I'm scared.
It has to be at least as crazy.
Or it's completely normal, which just makes the anime feel more crazy.
Well, Sarah, let's rewind a little bit. We just watched Ensemble Stars, and of course, after watching Ensemble Stars, we learned about some of the crazy buck-wild shit that happens in the mobile game.
Yes.
And maybe also in the fandom, but this is not a podcast about that. We're not gonna do it. We talked to some people at MomoCon. Hey, shout out if you were at MomoCon.
Thanks for visiting us. So let's get into this weirdness, and I'll start by introducing the characters.
Yos, tell me about these gays. I mean girls.
I mean, you know.
There's some hot ones.
Hey.
I'm looking at this one girl who looks like Takane Idolmaster, and she's got like the headband and like the floofy hair, and I'm looking at the one next to her who's got like similar length brown straight hair, and I'm like, those two feel like they're dating.
And you're right. We might as well start. But we will start with our center. Our center. This isn't an idol show. They're stage girls. What are they doing on our idol podcast?
Star.
Our first main character is Karen Ijo. I will call her Karen. She has like orangey brown hair. It's like chin length, and she has like two little like half ponytails.
She's like Honoka, but she's got a pigtail on the other side as well.
Yes, she's fully balanced.
As all things should be. I haven't even seen that fucking movie. I just know the gif.
I mean, it's for the memes now.
It's for the memes.
And notably, she always wears like a little hair clip with a like crown shape on it.
I was gonna ask if she just imagine it's a fucking power move. Just like walking in is like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to this freaking theater school and I'm just gonna wear a little tiny top crown because I'm the main character.
I will explain later, but the tiny top crown is only in her stage outfit. Her daily life, she has like a little hair clip and it's a crown.
I demand full tiny top hat energy crown at all times from my animes.
It's important.
I'm being robbed.
And despite this not being an idol anime, she's the red one. Her outfit has a lot of red, and she's our main girl.
Well, yeah, and am I to assume that she and the blue one are in love?
Indeed, there is a blue one.
Yup.
She has long, dark blue hair, very serious expression. She's the blue one. Her name is Hikari. And she's just the blue one. She's serious. When she is not in her performance outfit, she always wears a little hair clip that's of these like two shining star images. And they're in love. But we'll get into that.
Shout out to The gays.
And I guess just going off of this, and we'll mention this with all the characters, is all of the girls have like a roommate. And I think and generally they they have a close connection with their counterparts. And it's heavily implied, especially later on, that they're like each counterpart is meant to be like an equivalent of like the mask and feminine roles in a Takarazuka review thing, like
Gotcha.
the leaders.
Which one of you wears the pants in the iDOL stage play?
There you go. So our next person we'll go to talk about is Mahiru. She has long purpley hair, blunt bangs, and she has like two little antennas on the side that are like mini ponytails.
She has like the world's smallest antennas, which is similar to I think Idly Pride, the main character had like one of these, and so she's got two.
She's got two.
This Starlight Revue, okay, it's Revue Starlight. I keep wanting to say Starlight Revue. I apologize if I get it mixed up. This is now the second show where they have taken an unbalanced character design from another iDOL property and balanced them. Where's Thanos? Where is the bastard?
Two
is he the giraffe?
I mean, anyways, so Mahiru, she's kind of like our Yukiho in this one. She's very shy, doesn't stick up for herself, but she also has like she cleans a lot. She's like very like organized and takes care of things.
The green one.
And also she is Karen's roommate at the beginning. So we'll get into that later. Then the next characters I'll go into are Star's favorites. We have Claudine. She looks like Takane Idolmaster. Long, like curly. She has like platinum blonde hair, not like full white, but she does have like the little hairband.
That was my go-to hairstyle for like all of middle and high school. Headband. No bangs.
And she is half Japanese, half French, which is why
Of
she's
course
blonde.
she
That's why
is.
she's blonde.
Blonde is the dominant gene in anime.
And she like sometimes speaks a little French, like, you know, French Japanese-ish statements every once in a while.
Baguette de soie.
Baguette de soie. And she is the second most talented person in the class. Her counterpart / roommate is Tendo Maya. She's Maya, but she's one of those characters where she always says Tendo Maya, and you're like, that's her name, you know? So Tendo Maya, she has like long, like brownish, like middle dark brown hair, and it's pulled back with like a little blue ribbon. She's very serious. She's the top student in the class, and Star, you would love her because she has like a really deep singing voice.
Yes!
She's great.
Yes! My people!
They're your people and they are in love.
Yay!
All right, so other characters we'll get into. There's Juna. She has like dark wine purpley hair. She does have a side ponytail, so there's our first unbalanced character, I guess.
Oh no! She's got like the dead anime mom hairstyle.
Yes, she does.
But it's purple.
She has glasses. She's like the studious, responsible type.
She wears glasses. That's how you know she's the responsible one.
And her roommate is Daiba Nana.
Banana.
But they all call her, everyone in the show calls her Banana, and we will call her Banana too.
Banana. Her hair looks like bananas.
She has two bunches of bananas on her head.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
And she's really tall, and she's Juna's roommate, and she's just like super
Tall
nice.
bananas?
Yes, she's the tallest of all of them.
Oh.
Tall banana. Tall like
Tall
a banana
banana.
tree.
Oh, gotta climb that tree. Get the bananas. I don't know where I'm going with this metaphor.
It's okay. There's a lot of metaphors in this show, and I think you're fine with that one, actually.
Yay!
And then our last pairing, we have Futaba. She is the shortest of the members. She has like pink, reddish pixie cut. She's like the sporty one, you know?
Yeah.
Like a little Yankee, little punk, little sporty.
Yeah.
And her roommate / life partner is Kaoruko. She has blue hair. It's like right above her shoulders, little twirls. She has like the sleepy eyes.
Yeah, I
She's
definitely would have clocked these two as lesbians without you even telling me, but I was so focused on the other two.
happy Pride Month.
Sarah, there's 9 of them.
Uh-huh.
Someone's gonna get left out.
Uh-huh.
Unless they form a polycule.
Well, we're gonna talk about it because they address what happens in the plot. Because someone does get left out. Dun 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 dun.
Oh no! They must be sacrificed to the giraffe.
Well, okay, let's get into the plot.
Yay! I want to know about this giraffe. Is the giraffe the best girl, Sarah?
We'll get into that.
You're
we'll get into
hesitating
all
so
of
much.
this.
I'm so afraid.
Yeah,
I'm so afraid.
it's wild. Revue Starlight is wild. Also, if anyone wanted to watch a really wild anime show, maybe don't listen to this episode because it's wild. My only regret about doing an episode about Revue Starlight with you, Star, is that you haven't watched it yet. Because I feel like you would enjoy it, but it's wild.
Well, you know, your girl doesn't have time to watch anime.
No, you can hear
anymore,
me.
so
You can hear me talk about anime at you instead.
I'm going to enjoy the shit out of you telling me about this show, Sarah.
Yes.
I've been looking forward to this.
So we start off with just like a quick reveal of like all the stage girls like dancing and singing, and then there's like a cut of all of them just like collapsed on a stage. But then you hear Karen's voice, our main character, being like, "Let's all go towards that star together," and you're like, "This is interesting, but I don't understand it yet."
I mean, so many idol anime do this, right? Where they like show you the twinkling star of determination, and it's a metaphor. Love Live did it. I think Idolmaster must have done it at some point.
I think so too. Yep.
Just every idol anime does this at some point. You have your little dream sequence or whatever.
Yep.
Flash forward, flashback, dream sequence, walk towards the light of Idaru, not towards the light of we are all dead now.
Yes, though they are like posed like they're dead in this beginning one.
Rip lesbians.
Rip lesbians. Don't bury your gays this Pride Month.
No! Leave them on stage to be observed.
Please. So we start off with an alarm. Basically, Karen is late to school. She and Mihiru, her roommate. So Karen is our main girl, Red. Mihiru is the girl with the symmetrical tiny antennas. And Mihiru, being like the mom takes care of people character, is like, Karen, you gotta wake up. We can't be late to day duty, right? And also has a huge crush on Karen. Like, not so subtle, I guess, in a lot of ways.
I can see it.
So they start rushing to school, but then, like, on the way there, Karen's like, wait, we have to go back. And then Mihiru's like, why do we have to go back? And Karen, like, is like, I forgot my barrette. Like, the barrette with the little crown on it. So
this crown will show everyone the time king.
So the crown is so important to Karen, she can't go to school without it, even if it means she's late.
Was the crown a gift from someone?
Well, we'll find out soon.
Yeah, that's basically confirming it. I'm going to place a bet now, and I'm going to say that the crown was a gift from the blue girl.
You're right. Spoilers, you're right.
Yay, I did it.
Hey.
I've unlocked all anime. I am the leader, the champion.
They go to school, and their classes are all very much stage girl classes. So Mihiru and Karen like start going through stretches in their training room. This is where you're introduced to like a little like T-shaped tape mark on the floor, and they can call this position 0. This is like the default position where the leader goes on stage. It's basically like a stage mark.
It's where you T-pose for dominance.
It's where you T-pose for dominance. And then slowly each of the other girls start coming in. That's where you meet all of the other ones we introduced at the opening, except the blue one, Hikari. She's not there yet.
MIA. Louis.
So you also find out that all of our girls are in their second year of the school. So they've already been through their first year. They were the 99th class of Seisho Academy, the school they're going to. And this year is the 100th year the school has been around. So it's a big year, right? Big, important year. And each year, each of the classes is assigned like a play to do at like the Seisho Academy Festival. And the thing that's weird about it is that I say weird, I don't know if this is true of like the Takarazuka school either, but each class does the same play every single year with the idea that each year they're supposed to improve upon the last year's play. So they only do the one play and they spend the whole year working on it.
Interesting.
And so the play that they were assigned to do last year that they're going to do again this year is called Starlight. I'll say it now just because they go through the plot of Starlight like throughout the anime, but it's definitely like split up a lot and it would get confusing just hearing it in an audio format, hearing it split up.
Yeah.
So the basic idea of Starlight is this play follows two girls, Claire and Flora, right? Two girls. And they meet at the Starlight Festival. And this is it's supposed to be like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, like a super fantasy thing, right?
Star Wars, got it.
Star Wars. And at Star Wars Festival, they meet each other and they like instantly realize that they're each other's destiny and they're like, we're soulmates, right?
Uh-huh.
It's gay. And then the other thing about the Starlight Festival is like on the Starlight Festival, like 2 stars rain down from the sky. And the legend goes that, quote, if you catch a small star, you've obtained a small amount of luck. If you obtain a large star, you obtain a large fortune. And if you get both stars, your wishes will be granted. That's like the quote that happens over and over, right? Mm-hmm. So both the girls are like, wow, the Star Wars Festival's great. Love you.
Where's Obi-Wan? I want to take a picture.
Love you so much, girl. See you next year, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And so when they come back the next year, Claire doesn't remember who Flora is. And she's like, who are you? I know that you're important to me, but I can't remember why.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I guess what had happened is that on the way back from the last Star Wars celebration, Claire lost her memory in an accident, right? But Flora's like, oh, don't worry, Claire. I have an idea. We can get your memory back because it's the Starlight Festival, Star Wars celebration. And if we climb the tower, and there's like a big white tower behind them, she's like, we can go to the top and we'll catch the 2 falling stars because if you catch both stars, you can have your wishes granted, right? Mm-hmm. And as they climb up the tower, there's like these sleeping goddesses, and each of them are like different types of sins, like jealousy or like, I don't know, being sleepy, whatever.
You know, those sins, gluttony, envy, sleeping sometimes.
Sleeping sometimes. Sloth, that's the one. Either way.
No, I like yours better.
Yeah, so they're all different sins, right? Going up the tower. It's not like the 7 deadly sins. They're just supposed to be like whatever. They're their own sins for the story, right? Mm. And so they go up the tower, they defeat the goddesses, and they reach for the stars to get their wishes. But when they reach for the stars, Florida gets blinded by the Florida! Star Wars Celebration Florida gets blinded by the brightness of the 2 stars and falls off the tower, right?
Oh, rip.
And then as she's falling down the tower, Claire gets her memories back and is like, wow, this sucks and is sad. And then it's like, it's a tragic ending. And so the idea of Starlight is a sad story, and that's the story they perform every year.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. So that story is definitely told in like little snippets throughout the anime until like the very end where you're like, oh, I get the whole story now. And it's like alluded to, but I'm going to say it all at once just so you know this whole backbone story.
I appreciate it.
Yes. So all the girls, it's their second year, and they're talking about like, oh, hey, we just started our second year, but let's get working on this next year's 100th Festival Starlight, right? And everyone's excited about it. They start thinking about last year, and like Nana's like, last year was the best. It was like the best thing that ever happened. It's like an eternal memory, and I'm so glad we had it together. I want our next Starlight to be just like last year. But then Juna, her roommate's like, no, we need to get better every year. We have to improve every year. What's the point otherwise, right? So you're already seeing some conflict between the girls' goals as stage girls. And then you see like some quick cuts with like a mysterious girl rolling her suitcase into the school, right? And you're like, this is going to happen. And then all of a sudden it cuts to a scene of Karen on top of the Tokyo Tower.
Okay, how'd she get up there?
And she's alone and she's like, wow, this view's amazing, but why am I up here? And then as she's looking out on the Tokyo Tower, an arm reaches out and pushes her off the tower.
Oh, rest in peace. Happy Pride Month.
And she starts, as she's falling, she's looking up at the tower being like, oh, this is funny. This is where all of it started. This is where my dream of being a stage girl started. Right?
Hello?
And then before she meets her doom, she wakes up because she had fallen asleep in the middle of class, I guess.
Okay.
Sure. It's so weird to describe this because it is like Revue Starlight is like a weird series of metaphors. So
do your best.
I'm doing my best.
You do your best to explain it. I'm going to be staring at this image of the cast and trying to mentally cast them in the Ace Attorney musical.
That sounds perfect. But as Karen wakes up, she looks up and guess who's there?
The blue one?
But our blue one, Hikari.
Yeah, she is.
She is our new transfer student coming all the way from London.
Oh, all the way from London? Damn.
And Hikari is like just serious, notices Karen, but just like gets more serious about it, right? And meanwhile, Karen is like, oh my god, this is the best day ever. My childhood friend Hikari, I'm finally meeting her again. We can both fulfill the promise we made. Basically, Karen volunteers herself to like show Hikari around the school and walk her home because she loves her childhood friend, right? And like Mahiro, Karen's roommate, is just kind of following behind like, okay, this is fine, basically.
Like, all right, I have picked up this little golden retriever with a crown.
Yep. And I guess you get some like just like them talking amongst each other. You come to understand that Hikari was in London, but when she was in London, she was like in the most prestigious theater school in the entire world. And now she's in Japan, so they're like, wow, you must be really good at theater. And then like they go to Karen's dorm and she's like, and this is where me and Mahiro sleep. And Mahiro's like, yeah, but she's gonna have her own dorm, right? It's like, right?
Right?
But Karen's like, nope, she can sleep here. But like Hikari reads the room and is like, I'll go to my own room, right? Because Mahiro's like freaking out, like, wait, a third person in our room? Over the next week, you see like little montage of their classes, and Hikari is basically like amazing, right? Like she's jumping higher than everyone else. She's singing better than everyone else. She is like top stage girl. But even though she's like physically doing things well, some of the other girls, specifically Maya and Claudine, are like, yeah, she's technically amazing, but there's something about her that makes me feel like her heart just isn't in it, and I can't figure out what it is, right?
She's a fake in it.
And so after this talk, Karen's like, well, I'm going to go talk to Hikari and see what's on her mind because I miss her so much. So she like leaves Maya and Claudine to go look for Hikari, and she can't find her. And then she looks out the window and she sees Hikari running from the dorms into the school. And so she chases after her, right? Which is the thing you do.
Yeah.
And she walks into the school and you see like a little like hair flap like Hikari ran past. So she doesn't see exactly where Hikari went, but she ends up in a hallway where there's an elevator. And Karen's like, huh, this is weird. I've never seen this elevator here before, right? And so she presses the down button being like, I bet this is where Hikari went. And then the elevator moves, but the way the elevator moves is so weird and creepy where it's not just like the elevator door open and it going down. It's like the entire like image plate of like the wall in the elevator just like scoots down and is replaced by itself.
Huh.
It's a very like, this is an anime that's a visual medium and they took advantage of that and I appreciate it.
I mean, listen, we love to see it, but it's hard to talk about in our podcast.
Absolutely hard to talk about. So she's goes down this weird elevator in the wall, screaming the whole way, and finds herself plopped into a seat, right? And she's looking at a stage. And she's watching as Hikari, childhood friend, and Juna, the one with the glasses, are doing like a song dance performance.
闇を先と思った激光が少女たちの渇望を照らす
but also while they're doing it, they are singing some of the time, some of it's diegetic, some of it isn't, and fighting each other with combat weapons.
Yeah, idol combat.
Idol combat. And Karen's like, wow, what am I looking at? When suddenly she looks up and there is a giraffe sitting next to her, standing next to her.
Yeah, it's a giraffe.
The giraffe has like a very deep voice. He's specifically known for saying, I understand, wakarimasu, right? But like, wakarimasu.
Wakarimasu. I'm a fucking giraffe.
And sometimes he says it without much context to what he understands, and you're like, well, that's weird. But he explains what's happening, which is all of these girls have been invited to this review, which is underground, and whoever wins the audition, he calls these the auditions, will have the path to be a top star.
Ooh.
And will get supplied with whatever they need to be the top star. Even if they risk everything in the process, a real stage girl wants to risk everything to be a top star.
A real stage girl would commit second-degree murder to be in a marching band.
Well, it's okay. And then
that sounded more like a self-assurance than anything.
And the giraffe is like, well, Karen, you're here in the audience, but do you really have the determination to be a stage girl like your girlfriend and also Juna up there, right?
Are you willing to stab someone to T-pose for dominance as the top star?
And then Karen does something unexpected to the giraffe, which is she runs across his neck and she jumps towards the stage.
Oh, she's like, stab me too!
And as she falls towards the stage, the screen turns bright red and the words, I am reborn, shows up on the screen. And her barrette is melted down into a furnace while a bunch of unmanned machines start like sewing and like forging weaponry underground,
I've seen this clip on YouTube.
Yes. And then it's basically like a magical girl transformation sequence for the stage girls, right? You see Karen's multiple times in the show. Mm-hmm. And basically she arrives on stage ready. Karen's weapon of choice is a little rapier. So she has a rapier. Juna, the glasses girl, has a bow and arrow. Hikari has like this dagger on a string. So each girl has a different weapon, right? But Karen arrives on stage and she's like so happy. She's like, I'm going to be a stage girl. And together with all my friends, we're going to perform the best Starlight ever, right?
Let's go. Who do I stab?
So Juna's like, hey, stop getting in the way. This audition was between me and Hikari, not you. Move out the way. But Karen's like, no, I want to fight you anyways. So they start fighting each other. And in the end, Karen cuts. So they each have like their stage girl outfits are like these like princely military style uniforms combined with a school uniform sort of look.
Yeah.
And they all have like this little like prince jacket on one of their shoulders, and it's held on by like a gold string and a button, right?
Yeah, and I love it. Aesthetically pleasing.
To win their review, the person who wins cuts off the other person's button and the jacket falls to the floor. And once the jacket falls to the floor, that means the curtain is closed and the other girl wins, right?
I'm noticing from this lineup that Hikari is the only one with the blue one and everyone else has red.
Yes, because she's the blue one.
But everyone else is not they all have their own colors, but they all have red capes except for Hikari.
Yeah, well, she's the blue one.
Okay.
And, I mean, there might be reasons later, but we're not there yet.
Oh, I see. Oh, baguette desu.
The stage itself is notable that there's almost always, like, this white tower in the background that mimics, like, the white tower in the Starlight play. Mm-hmm. And even bigger than the white tower, the entire stage is circular, and it's kind of, like, almost always shown within like the legs of Tokyo Tower. So like Tokyo Tower is looming above it and the stage is this round white stage.
Just getting straddled by Tokyo Tower.
Getting straddled by Tokyo Tower. But occasionally like set pieces are added and they're like made to look like set pieces. So like little bits of cardboard that look like, I don't know, like a mountain would show up and it's like the girls like go around the props.
Cute.
Yeah, it's very... It's very like aesthetically interesting to watch, which is good. Also, the fight scenes are really well animated. But
I have now I'm remembering that like I have seen a couple of clips that I just watched because I was curious.
there's no dancing, kind of, but there is a lot of stage combat,
Yeah, which is like a dance.
which is like a dance.
Dance for your lives.
So in the end, Karen wins. Hikari, who was previously fighting Juna, is just kind of looking on, like, what the hell happens, and then she calls Karen, like, her, like, nickname, which is, like, Stupid Karen, but specifically it's Bakaren, right? So it, like, goes together. But, so you're like, oh, there's tension. What's going on with Hikari? Why didn't she tell Karen about this? Who knows?
Oh, a mystery.
Episode 2, we get the OP. It's cute, but like with some action scenes, but it's relatively cute song, so.
確かにあの日見たんだ弾けた星のきらめき色あせた約束に指が触れるまで幕開け前に始まる
It's good. It's all the girls singing.
Excellent.
We pick up where we left off, where the giraffe is looking on at Karen's victory, and he's like, well, I guess we have a new entry to this audition.
I forgot about the giraffe already.
Oh yeah, the giraffe is there. And he's like, I approve of your entry, right? But then he's also like, but Karen, you can't tell anyone about this or talk about these auditions or you'll get fined, basically.
Find what? Money?
I don't know.
Is the giraffe a capitalist?
Well-
you're telling me that the only consequence of telling people about the secret underground theater girls fight club is you get fined like $100?
I mean, when you're in school, you don't got a lot of money.
There has to be something else.
Maybe.
This has to go deeper.
But the next day, anyways, Hikari is there, like in their bedroom, all of a sudden. Karen Mahira's bedroom, and is like, I changed my mind, I am sleeping in this room with both of you. And for the rest of the anime, she has like a little futon in the center of the floor that she lays on while the other two are in beds.
They don't give her own room?
I think she has her own room, but she wants to stay in Karen's room now.
That's gay.
That's
and
gay.
Inconveniencing your girl.
Then we like go through like a little sequence where we get like a little bit of each of the girls' personalities. I'm not going to go through all of them, just like more solidifying who they are. Some important things is that Banana specifically is always like going around and like taking little pictures on her phone, being like, I want to capture this memory. Like, this is so great. I love my friends, right?
Gotcha. Wait. The banana girl is taking pictures
With her banana
on
phone.
her banana phone!
ring. Banana phone.
Banana phone. Do. To anyone who is under the age of 25, sorry for that joke that you probably didn't understand.
It's okay. We'll make it a TikTok audio and you'll understand in the future.
Ring dong ding dong ding dong ding.
Banana
phone! That's from the old internet. the internet of yore where we grew up in. Sarah, we're old.
We're old.
We're old. What are we
Um,
doing with our lives? We have a podcast about idol anime, and we just spent 30 seconds talking about banana phone.
Banana phone. So Karen, meanwhile, isn't doing great in her lessons that day because she's so tired from the day before. So she's like, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with this if I have these other auditions. She's also like continuously trying to hound Hikari, being like, yo, what the fuck was that last night? Talk to me about it. What are these auditions? But Hikari just kind of keeps brushing her off, being like, I won't talk about it. You need to drop out. Stop doing the auditions. We can't talk about it. We'll get fined, right?
Right.
So while Karen is distracted and tired because of lessons and last night, Hikari goes up to the elevator and she tries to press the down button, but she realizes, oh, I can't use the elevator because the elevator won't work until the curtains are open. But she like holds her face to the elevator and is like, yo, giraffe, I need you to drop Karen from the auditions. Like, get her out of here. And the giraffe is like, well, and then he like has like a little tape recorder by his feet, which he knocks over to start playing. And the tape recorder is a recording of Karen when they were younger. And it's her talking about the promise they made when they were children to meet again on stage. And he's like, is this really what you want? Don't you hear your girlfriend's voice? And Hikari is like, well, whatever, and runs away, right?
Fuck your tape recorder, bye!
And so she turns away because she's like frustrated with the giraffe. And then right behind her, like, Banana's there. And the fun thing about Banana is she's like always like offering like weird banana snacks. And she's like, try my banana pudding.
We love a girl that goes all in.
She
on
goes
gimmick.
so hard on being Banana. And she's like, why don't you try my banana pudding? And Hikari is like, I don't like banana pudding. And like, you see her like through the anime offering Hikari different banana snacks. And you're like, oh, she's just trying to figure out what banana thing Hikari likes, but maybe she doesn't like bananas.
Maybe she just does not like the taste of bananas.
We continue on going through the classes of that day, where Karen is like looking at Claudine and Maya, and she's thinking about the auditions being like, I want to be a top star like them. I want to work hard in these underground auditions so I can be even better than Maya, the best people in class, right? Mm-hmm. And then the teacher's like, okay, everyone, because they're all watching Claudine and Maya like be gay and do dancing together. She's like, everyone else split into pairs, and you guys also be gay and do good dancing together. But Banana, because she's trying to get to know Hikari, is like, you be my partner. So Karen's like, I don't have a partner right now. And the only person left is Banana's roommate, Juna. And Juna's the one she defeated last night. So then the two of them start dancing, and Juna's like, why did you, like, crash my stage show yesterday, basically? Like, don't you know the rules? Did you even get a text for the audition?
Karen is a bit like the Kool-Aid man.
She just bursts in. She's
Yeah.
red.
Qualities of the Kool-Aid man. Number 1, bursts into locations. Number 2, is red.
Is red. And so Karen's like, what do you mean text? I don't know what you're talking about. I've never gotten any texts. And Juna's like so upset. She's like, so you're not even legit and they let you audition? Like, you don't have what it takes. You don't have the real shine of a stage girl. Just quit now, right?
You're a fucking poser! You didn't even get the text!
But then as they're twirling around, Juna all of a sudden collapses, like in lessons. And you find out that basically Juna has been practicing constantly for these underground auditions and also like the above ground Starlight auditions. Overworked herself and collapsed, right? Rip. After she collapses, I'm going to do this first. So this is a little out of order. Juna ends up in the nurse's office and her roommate Banana shows up. And she's like, hey, Juna, I noticed something's bothering you. What's up? And Juna eventually gives in and she's like,
Eat this banana and tell me all about it.
eat this banana and tell me your secrets. And Juna's like, well, I'm kind of upset because like I was looking at Karen and feeling like that's me. Like maybe I don't have what it takes to be a star. Like she's having the imposter syndrome, right? And she's like, there's all these other people who are so much better than me. And I'm just like, I don't know if I deserve to catch up or if I can catch up, because her way of learning things is like studying and like taking notes and learning. And it's not like this natural talent. And then she's like, if I don't have that, then am I worthy of being a stage girl? But then she thinks back on like her performance and she's like, but despite this imposter syndrome, I am selfish and I still want to be able to be the top star. So she's like newly determined after talking to Banana. It's the banana treats. It helped.
Banana therapy.
Banana therapy. Also after school, Karen and Hikari finally start talking a little bit more, where Hikari goes up to Karen specifically and is like, hey, quit these auditions. Like, actually stop it. Mm-hmm. Also, I heard you didn't get those texts, so that means you didn't have enough shine to be invited in the first place. So what's the point? You're never going to become top star, right?
Oh, shit!
But Karen's like, Well, even though I didn't get the text, and you say I don't have the shine, I know that together, you and me, Hikari, the two of us together have enough shine, and we will be top stars, but together, right? And Hikari is like shocked by this because she's like, oh, this is something I never thought you would think. I would think you'd just be competitive, but you still just want to be with me, and I'm gay. Right?
I was about to say, this is very heterosexual.
And then Karen's phone buzzes, and she looks at it, and it's a little spinning giraffe icon, and it's a text that says, audition day 2.
Oh, I thought it was going to say, you up?
You up? Giraffe says you up.
You up? New phone, who dis?
New phone, who dis? So all of a sudden we're underground, and it is a formal review with Karen and Juna. The last one didn't really count because they weren't supposed to fight each other, but now it is their formal head-to-head. There's like a giraffe. The giraffe is there. He's watching on. He always watches on. He's like has like a little monologues about what he thinks the top star should be. And this time he's like, the top star is whoever stands at the top of the stage and is brimming with this limitless shine. And they always say the shine is the important thing, right?
Center Nova.
Center Nova. So then we have the head-to-head. Again, with all of these head-to-heads, they are singing.
理解者など誰一人そばにはいなかったから向かい風に煽られ心を焼いたの何を求めているのかはあの星だけが知っている
Most of the time it's really interesting because it is like both girls singing, and then like whoever takes a hold of the song and sometimes even switches the song is the one in charge. So it's like very artfully done, but again, hard to show in podcast form.
Yup, go watch them some clips on the YouTube.
Watch them clips in the YouTube. And so they also like talk to each other on top of the singing. So again, not all diegetic. The basic gist of their conversation during the fight song is that Juna's like, even though I always felt like I wasn't good enough, I refuse to stay in the shadows. I want to be the top star, and this is my only chance, and I'm going to win.
This is my fight song.
But then Karen like turns the fight around and is like, no, this isn't your only chance. We're stage girls, and we'll keep getting up, and we'll keep going again, and like it's never over. There's never only one chance because our whole thing is being reborn on the stage over and over again.
Power's turned up, starting right now. I'll be strong. This is my fight song.
I mean,
and I don't believe, 'cause I still got a lot of fire left in me.
and there we go.
Did you like my rendition, Sarah?
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I worked very hard on it.
The giraffe looks on and like is seeing Karen with all her shine about being reborn on the stage and being amazing. And then Karen takes position 0, wins, and the giraffe is like, I know why I didn't initially invite her. It's because of her, like, because she is tied by fate with Hikari. Because Karen's like, I'm going to go back to the stage and I'm going to win with Hikari. And Giraffe is like, oh, she wasn't invited because her shine is connected to Hikari. So I had Hikari here, so somehow my giraffe text brain didn't invite Karen, right?
How whoopsie doodles. What can you do?
And so the reason why they weren't both entered is because Karen and Hikari have the same destiny, right? So you're like, that's vague, but sure, Giraffe.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride
Shout
Month.
out to the gays.
Shout out to the gays. So after the audition, Juna and Karen like are getting along now because it's like Juna was inspired by Karen saying this isn't her only shot, and Karen's inspired by Juna being like her like wanting to like take top star, right?
I'm sorry, I thought you said TikTok star.
She wants to be a TikTok star.
Get 1 million followers by doing dances in their living room.
Something else to mention, I probably will mostly be mentioning like the main fights between like the girls in the story who are being discussed with this main fight. But you also see alongside the same fight in post credits that Maya and Claudine, those two girlfriends, were facing off each other, and Maya's the one who won, and Claudine gets frustrated by that. So that's something else that happens.
Girlfriend fight.
Episode 3. It starts out, and a lot of them from now on will start out with like little snippets of the Starlight stage play, so you're like getting some of that sad story. So it's like basically supposed to be the next day, and that day Claudine isn't in class, and everyone's like, why isn't it Claudine in class? If you remember last episode, she lost to Maya. And they're like, well, I mean, she must be frustrated, but I'm sure nothing's wrong, right? They also get more information from their teacher about the Seisho 100th Starlight performance, like the Seisho Festival where they'll be doing the 100th Starlight, which is they're going to start doing auditions for the Starlight soon. But a notable change from this year that didn't happen last year is that Banana is actually going to be working in the scripting crew and not as much the stage play crew. And everyone's like, what, Banana, you're switching tracks? And Banana's like, just for this one, I want to see more of what it's like to be behind the scenes. So everyone's shocked because they're like, but Banana wanted the same play, but now she's behind the scenes. What's going to happen?
Dun, dun, dun.
But because she decides to write the play and like the news about auditions coming up, the big gag in this episode is everyone's trying to butter Banana up to like try to get them on her side, like giving her candy and being like, hey, you want to like get my meal at lunch, you know? So they're all trying to be her friend extra hard because she could give them a good role.
So they don't just recycle the same roles from last time, as you have to re-audition again?
You have to re-audition again, yes.
Okay.
And it sounds like also the people who work behind the scenes, so the people who like rewrite the play every year and come up with like the costumes, or so like the behind the scenes girls are the ones who deal with casting, not so much the teachers.
Gotcha. Do we ever see much of the teachers?
No, despite this being a stage play school show, you don't get much school time.
I see. You need school when you can do battle royales in the Fortnite arena underneath the school.
I mean...
Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. However that song goes, I can't remember. I don't know what do I look like I know what a Fortnite is?
No, we're old. We know about
old.
Banana Phone. We don't know about a Fortnite.
They're mutually exclusive. If you know about Banana Phone, you are banned from learning about Fortnite and vice versa.
So then like halfway through the day, Claudine shows up and she's like, oh, I overslept of all people. Ha 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 ha.
Womp
Right?
womp.
But specifically Futaba, our short pixie-haired pink girl, like notices this and is like, there's something going on with Claudine, right? And then classes are over. And Futaba and Claudine have like a bonding moment where they both are in the practice room kind of late at night, and they're both talking about like their frustrations of wanting to be the top star. Specifically Futaba, she has kind of a husky voice, a deeper voice, and she's like a mask role, but it's definitely implied like she's so short, she'll never be able to be a top star in a traditional sense, right? And then
Heckin' rip.
Claudine's upset because she's always been second to Maya in the sense that maybe she's too feminine to be a masculine role. And this is like one of those like, oh, this is probably a social commentary on the Takarazuka review, and people have written more about it. I don't understand Takarazuka review enough to like get super in depth in it, but those moments happen a lot, and Futaba and Claudine specifically have like a bond, right? They're friends.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of plays into like the idea of typecasting. I don't think this would be specifically a Takarazuka thing.
Yes, exactly.
Aside from the fact that they're all girls.
Well, yes, and then also the idea of in Takarazuka, only the main mask role, who's always supposed to be very tall and very masculine, is ever the main build star, and everyone else is like B cast, right?
Interesting.
At the end of Futaba and Claudine's talk, Maya starts coming in and is like, oh, were you two practicing together? She's like, I'm going to step in. And so, like, Futaba leaves, and Claudine and Maya do, like, a very tense dance between them where Claudine's, like, just venting to Maya, like, I feel like I can't reach you. I've always been second to you. I just feel like I don't have your shine. But then Maya's like, but you inspire me, and I'm the top star, but I need to keep my position, and I'm always on my toes for it, right? And they're like waltzing together, and you're like, oh. Also after school, Hikari kidnaps Karen and puts her in the storage shed
Okay.
She like zip ties her wrists together and shuts the door while Karen starts crying, being like, "Hey, why aren't you letting me out? Let me out."
You know, just theater
And
kid things.
Hikari is like, "Karen, I'm not going to let you out because I can't let you go to these auditions anymore," right?
Red flag.
Red flag. All of a sudden, everyone, while Karen's zip tied in the thing, gets the little text from the giraffe that auditions have started. And then you see like a scene of Karen like busting out the window of the storage shed. And then Hikari's like, no, and chases after her, right? But Karen had a head start because she bust out the storage shed and Hikari wasn't expecting it. And runs to the school and goes down the elevator. And this time, Karen is facing Maya Tendo, our main, like, #1 stage girl that everyone's jealous of at this point. Both Futaba and Claudine. We just got scenes about how they're jealous of her. She's the best #1, and now Karen's up against her.
Dun dun dun.
Meanwhile, Hikari is chasing after. She's not on the docket for auditions today, but she's trying to like stop Karen from going into this like audition. So she runs up to the elevator, but it won't open for her. So she grabs a crowbar and starts knocking the door down.
Girl boss.
Girl boss.
Girl boss your way into ruining your girlfriend's life. Let's go.
Let's go. So then Maya and Karen have their duet/duel. Again, Maya's voice is like very deep. It's like so good. She has a great voice.
より高くより輝く地平線照らして一つ進んで一つ近づく夢それが誇りより高くより輝く届かない場所へそれが私の誇り
Basically, Maya starts singing about how like there's only ever one top star and only the top star can get this whole large fortune, like quoting Starlight, right? The play. And then if you can catch up, you can catch the star, but there's no way you can catch up to me. That's basically her song, right? But then Karen's like, no, I'm going to be the top star with Hikari. My dream is to be together with everyone on stage.
I'm just imagining she says or sings this, and then we cut to Hikari, who is just doing vandalism.
Yeah. And basically Hikari gets in, but like when she gets to the stage, it's like too late, and the giraffe is like, you're too late, basically, right? But in the end, Tendo Maya cuts off Karen's button, and Karen loses.
No.
I know,
who could've
episode
seen
3.
That coming.
Also, the fight that's happening at the same time as Futaba and Claudine, and Futaba loses, so Claudine stays #2, right? And then we get the ending credits, and I actually like the ending credits. So it's the same song every time you get the ending from episode 3 on, but it's sung by the different girl, like whoever the episode's about, and the animation is slightly different depending on the girl. So it's like kind of fun to hear how the different people sing it.
ずっとあなたを見てた孤独を置いてきたみたい今宵月も笑いかけるこっちを向いて Oh fly me to the stars
So I have a question.
Yes.
At this point, what are these fight auditions for? Because they're calling them auditions, but we don't really know what the deal is with those yet, do we?
No, the idea is whoever wins is going to be the top star, but you don't know anything else.
Because, like, you would think that whoever is the top star is whoever butters up Banana enough.
Well, no, this is a separate audition. This is not for their above ground play. There's the above ground play, and then there's the below ground auditions for something else.
For something.
These are the giraffe auditions. Up above, it's just their whatever school thing. We don't care about school, right?
Giraffes taking underground stage plays very seriously. Ba-da-bop.
And then post credits, you see like kind of basically neck down of like Karen and Hikari, and it's raining, and Karen's outside, and she's just like sad and down. And it's kind of cool because like they're in their uniforms, like in the normal thing, but like there's puddles on the ground, and in the puddles they're wearing their like review clothes. So you're like, oh, symbolism. And then
Symbolism.
and then Hikari slaps Karen, and then the episode's over.
Wow.
Slap. Episode 4.
Let's go.
So basically Karen wakes up with a shock, thinking about how her true love slapped her, and is like, wow, what the fuck, this sucks.
Slap to the face. Now I'm depressed, baby.
And she's like, well, I need to talk it out with Hikari. And she looks down, and Hikari is not on her futon. And she's like, where is Hikari, right? She looks everywhere. And then all the other girls are like, why don't you just call her, right? So they call her, and Hikari answers, but she doesn't say anything, and all you hear is like a train sound in the background. So Karen's like, she must be on the train. And then basically it's like...
On a midnight train going down. See, we're talking about musicals, so I'm going to insert as many song references as humanly possible. That is the decision that I have come to today.
There we go. But basically, Karen leaves campus, which is apparently against the rules without prior authorization. Later on, all the girls have to cover for her, but they're all supporting her with finding Hikari, right? Because they're like, Karen, you have to find Hikari. She has to come back. And then it's like a really weird series of back and forths and cuts. Like, they only ever talk to each other through, like, text messages. And it's still hard to tell if Hikari, like, actually likes Karen or if she just hates her, right? Because it's like, why are you running around? But then like she shows her a picture of some jellyfish, so it's almost like, oh, Hikari wants me to meet her at an aquarium or something. And you're like, this went from like her running away to them playing like tag with each other.
Oh, why you always giving the run around?
Yeah. And so then
I'm committing to this bit. This is now my bit for the rest of the episode.
There you go. There you go.
Making song references.
So you get bonuses if it's from a musical. So try harder for that.
Ooh. Well, I've already done one. I did that Hamilton reference earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And so at some point, Karen is like hopping another train to figure out where Hikari is. And then Karen's just like texts her like, what should I have done? Like talking about like last night. And Hikari responds back like, I don't know what to do, right? I don't know what you should have done. And Hikari is like, well, she's actually sending me something that's not cryptic. I'm going to call, right? Mm-hmm. And so she actually calls on the phone. And
so
Hikari...
call me, baby. Sorry, that was a stretch.
And Hikari calls, and Hikari answers, and the first thing she says is, do you remember our Starlight? Right? Mm-hmm. So then they start like... That opens the conversation, and then like we get a little montage of each of them like running around town, like trying to like find each other, run from each other. But like as they're running around town, each of them are like catching up on what happened the last 12 years, because I guess it's been 12 years since they've actually talked to each other. So it's like they talk about the play, but then they talk about like weird shows they saw and like their favorite food, and it's just kind of cute. And then at the end, like towards the end of their calls, it was like, do you remember our promise again? And
do you remember?
And
someone needs to keep a tally.
Yeah, there we go. And then both of them are like, of course I remembered our promise. We can never forget our promise. And then Karen's like, even though I lost my audition against Maya, I can't wait to go back down and audition again. I can't wait to like reach my own Starlight with you in the world of stage girls, both of us being top star together. And in the end, Karen like arrives out of breath at Tokyo Tower, which is a place where Hikari wanted them to meet, right? And the two of them talk, and they're like, oh, this is where we made our promise. This is like the important place to us, is Tokyo Tower. And Hikari is like, hey, Karen, the reason why I didn't want you to audition is that if you don't win, you're going to lose the most important thing for a stage girl. And
Your life! And then pushes her out the tower.
And then Karen's like, I don't get it, but I still want to do it, even if it means risking it all. The idea of becoming top star with you, that's the most important thing for me, right? And she's also like, hey, Hikari, how do you know so much about these auditions? But Hikari's like, not says anything, right? And then, so they're like around Tokyo Tower, and they end up at like a playground outside of Tokyo Tower. And Karen's like, hey, let's beat these auditions together. I know we can do it. And she like climbs to the top of like the little slide thing and reaches out her hands. And Hikari's like, in her mind, she's like, I'm doubtful, but if anyone can do it, it's me and Karen together because we're in love, right? Mm-hmm. And then they hold hands and they're like, okay, we can do this. I'm not going to stop you from doing these auditions after all. We're in love. We're best friends.
Yay!
Yay!
Happy Pride Month!
Happy Pride Month. Episode 5. So, we start again with last year's Starlight episode, like them performing Starlight last year. But this time we get a backstage thing where they're about to go on stage, but Mihiru, who is Karen's roommate, purple hair antennas, is all nervous. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared to go on stage. And then Karen walks up to her and is like, don't worry. You'll be okay because we're going to be on stage and we'll be together. And then Mahiru's like, we'll be together like forever. And Karen's like, yeah. And then it's present day. Karen's doing better because she has Hikari and the two of them flame each other's shine so much that they're both great. And Karen is like dedicated. She's waking up on her own so Mihiru doesn't have to wake her up anymore. She's doing stretches with Hikari so Mihiru doesn't have to stretch with her anymore. And Mihiru is feeling like, oh, hey, what happened? Mm-hmm. My girlfriend got stole.
Oh.
So she's like, wow, something must have happened when... Also, the other thing about last episode, like when Karen and Hikari like met up after school, they don't come back until the next morning, which is very much like a, my wife came back with another man in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. But the idea is like they were talking all night. It's not like explicit like that, but it's definitely meant to be like Mihiru has been left behind. Third wheel. So Mihiru like is already sad, and then she gets like a box from her family who like live in the countryside and they own a farm, and it's a box of potatoes and stuff her parents found when cleaning out her room. One of which is a DVD, and the DVD is of a young Mihiru in junior high, and she's about to go to Seisho Academy, and because it's a small town, the news is all excited about the small town girl going to this really hard to get into school, and about how Mihiru was a star baton twirler.
Just a small town girl. I've already done that one.
Trying to think of new ones.
Yeah.
And that she was like this amazing star when she was younger. And meanwhile, Mihiru's watching this and like, she's like, I don't deserve to be like, I thought I would belong here and thought I'd find something amazing, but like, where do I belong?
I just ended up being the third wheel for a couple of lesbians. This one girl just showed up and swooped my roommate / object of my affection out from under me. What the fuck?
It gets to the point where Mihiru is just like so upset about this and not knowing where she fits in the school, where she does confront Hikari directly after school one day. And she's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Everything since you showed up, everything's been different and it sucks. And I need you to give my Karen back because you stole her from me. And you need to stop stealing the things that make me shine. She's like, Karen makes me shine and you stole her from me. And then Hikari is like, don't use terms like stealing someone's shine so lightly. And Mihiru's like, what do you mean? And then the phone rings and the giraffe has called them to the audition.
Oh, fight it out. Fight it out.
But who's fighting it out is Mihiru, instead of going against Hikari, is actually going against Karen this time.
Ooh,
dun, dun, dun,
plot
dun.
twist.
The giraffe calls this review the review of jealousy. I had mentioned like each of the goddesses are separate sins, and apparently Mihiru plays the goddess of jealousy, right? So it's just her talking about like, it's very like yandere. It's like, you're gonna be mine and only mine.
I was gonna say, like, just based on how you described her, I was kind of getting yandere vibes, like a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit, not as much like in their normal school life, but definitely in this fight in her song. It's very like possessive, you're mine, and if I can't have you, no one can have you sort of things, right? say that all of your shine is because of me and you want me to become a good stage girl. Like, that's me and Hikari's bond. Like, we've had this since we were kids, and the reason why we're inspired to go on stage is something we thought of, like, when we were 5. But, like, I met you at this, like, musician school, so there must have been something that pushed you to be a stage girl before you ever met me, right? And then she's also like, but then Mahiro's like, what do you mean? I don't have anything. I'm worthless. I don't deserve to stand on stage with you guys. I'm a third wheel. Nobody loves me. And then Karen's like, well, we all love you as friends, but you have your own shine. You're a great singer. You're definitely not nothing. And you have your own motivation. And that's something that's impressive. The fact that you went to this school without any of this external motivation. It was all internal, is your own shine, right? And then Karen's also like, and even if I win, I still want all of us to do Starlight together and shine together. And then Karen wins. She cuts off the button. Mahiro afterwards is like trying to gather her thoughts and she's sad. So she like has some alone time sulking and is like, my shine, do I really have my own shine and motivation? And then she starts thinking back of junior high and like how she wanted to try hard and like her family and friends back at home, right? And then after she gets out of the bath, like she's all like dressed down to go talk to her friends about stuff, and all of them had used the potatoes, which I guess that Mahiro got shipped and she put in a public kitchen, right? And all the girls had used Mahiro's potatoes to make a bunch of different potato dinners. And they're like, these are the best potatoes ever, Mahiro. We love you.
Aw,
We love you even though
cute.
you're a potato.
We love your potatoes.
We love your potatoes. And she's like, and then she thinks internally, like, I felt like I lost my confidence seeing other people shine, like, because of their love. But I have my own shine, too. And I can make people happy by shining on my own, not by relying on someone else. Which is very
However,
good.
because I have not been paired off, I will be sacrificed to the giraffe.
Yes. Episode 6.
We're halfway there.
So, episode 6, this one deals specifically with the relationship between Kaoruko and Furuba, right? So the two roommates, the short, like, sporty one, and the tall Hime princess type.
Yeah.
So Kaoruko specifically came from, like, a very, like, traditional Japanese performance family, like trained in Japanese performance. Her family's known for it. She's basically destined to take over like her role in her family's Japanese performance business. Furuba, meanwhile, was her childhood friend, and basically was like the only person who kind of said no to Kaoruko, essentially, because Kaoruko is like a super princess, like, I'm perfect, I can do whatever I want.
And then Futaba was just like this little kid who was just like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's basically fuck you, but then also like very tsundere, like, but I'll take care of you anyways, right? Like, super like, I still want to protect you even though I say I don't. Super tsundere.
It's pretty cute, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Running up to this, there are like little cut-ins, and I didn't mention it just because it didn't make as much sense then, where especially with this underground review, Kaoruko is used to Furuba like checking in and reporting everything she does to her like ahead of time and like making decisions with her. But Furuba, again, having friendship with Claudine and doing her own underground stuff, has been doing stuff without Kaoruko. And now Kaoruko's like, does she need me anymore, right?
Oh.
But Kaoruko's still like, but I'm the best, so Furuba will still love me, right? And then you find out it's the first round of above ground Starlight auditions, not the below ground one, the above ground one. But there are multiple rounds of auditions, so even if you don't get first place the first time, it's like a point system, and you could get first place the next time. And Kaoruko's like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm great. I'm perfect. I will be on here no matter what. I don't have to try too hard. Because she's very Hime. She's like, it's fine. I'm great anyways. But auditions come around, and she is not on the board at all. And she's like, well, fuck, right?
Dun dun dun.
She's like, starts ranting to Furuba about it, and she's like, Furuba, give me your part. Like, I deserve it way more than you. And you're like, wow,
Ooh.
yeah, you're a jerk, right? And then Furuba's like, I'm not saying anything, basically. And then more and more she starts going to Futaba like, Futaba, do this to me, do this for me, right? Because Futaba's up till this point kind of been treated like her servant rather than her friend in some ways. But Futaba, meanwhile, is not there when she asks for help. She's like out practicing with Claudine or rehearsing for the next audition. And Karuko gets more and more upset about this. Like, why am I not your number one, right? And then at some point, Karuko like sees Futaba training with Claudine, and she's like, "You've been training in secret without me. You are a backstabber. You're trying to take over my spot. I am so upset at you," right? And then Futaba pushes back, like, "You take advantage of me. You don't actually try for stuff. You just expect stuff to be handed you on a silver platter, and you're taking advantage of my love, or you're taking advantage of me. You think my world revolves around you, but it doesn't," right?
Ooh, spicy.
It is spicy. And so then they start fighting. Futaba stops staying in the dorm with them and starts like staying in like Claudine and Maya's room. Like, so, and then
My girlfriend and I are fighting. Can I sleep over?
and then Karuko is like all upset, being like, doesn't she know that I'm the best? Why doesn't she love me, right? And then Karuko kind of gives up. She's like, nothing I do is working. And then she tells everyone else, well, if this isn't working out and I didn't make the audition, I'm just going to quit and I'm going to go back to my family in Kyoto. And Banana's like, Futaba, what do you think about this? And Futaba's like, I don't care. Whatever. We're angry at each other, right? Claudine and Maya are like looking at Karuko's decision like, are you actually sure this is what you want to do? Like, do you really want to go back to Kyoto?
Or do you just want attention from your ex-girlfriend?
Yeah. You get some more flashbacks to when they were children, talking about like going to Seisho Academy, where Karuko's like, I really want to go to this school because I'm going to learn everything I need to about Japanese dance and be better than I would have in Kyoto. And then she's like, and because I'm going, that means Futaba, you're going too. I don't want to be without you. So it's like back then they made this promise together and Karuko had her own motivation to be there, right? But it's the day of departure and she's about to go and she still keeps like being like, I'm leaving, right, Futaba? Don't say goodbye to me, right? But Futaba is just like not having it and ignores her. Maya goes up to Karuko right before she leaves, and she's like, hey, I get it. Like, I'm the top person in this school. I have relationships like this with other students where I feel like I have to be the role model. And if I'm not good enough to be the role model, then I feel like it's worthless, right? So she's like saying that's maybe why Karuko feels like she has to leave. But it's okay, right? It's like, that's why, but you don't have to feel like you always have to be the role model. But Karuko's like very adamant about it still because she still doesn't have Futaba's attention. So she continues all the way to the train station and is about to board the Nozomi. And she's like thinking about what Maya says. And she's like, well, you're saying that I'm always the example and I feel like I have to lead and be the most important person, but that's wrong. It's Futaba was my example and my inspiration this whole time. And the person I want to impress is just Futaba, not because I want to inspire her, but because she inspires me, right?
Cute.
And then right as she's about to step on the train, she looks around like, are you sure Futaba's not here? You sure no one's following me? And then Futaba is there behind her, out of breath. She has her motorcycle helmet like, I made it just in time, right?
Does it ever bother you when anime does, like, oh, reunion just before the lover is about to get on the train or the airplane? They would have had to buy a ticket just to get on that platform, and then they don't get on the train. That's a colossal waste of money.
It is a waste of money. Either that or she hopped the bullet train gate, which is going to be a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because, like, the freaking bullet train is fucking expensive. I assume they're in Tokyo, because they're at Tokyo Tower. Tokyo to Kyoto?
Expensive.
That's like several $100s on the bullet train.
Yep. But she's there anyways. And Futaba's like, well, I thought you'd be crying by now. And Karuko's like already crying. And she's like, wait, no, there's no way. I don't actually care that much. But Futaba's like, I could tell you were putting on a show about this whole thing just to talk to me. And you're a spoiled brat. and you take advantage of me, and you can't expect me to do this all the time. And Karuko's like, you just don't care about me enough. I thought we were in love, but we're not. And like their fight starts escalating again, and then their phones ring, and it's giraffe time.
Let's go!
So basically, they fight it out. They talk about how, like, when they were young, their promise was that Karuko would become a woman in full bloom, amazing girl on stage, and Karuko promised Futaba that she would be the first person to see her in full bloom. And then, like, it's them talking about, like, basically that they, love each other.
Yeah.
And with New Resolve, after Futaba talks about, like, Karuko blooming and stuff, Karuko starts being like, well, I'm actually going to try. I can't expect to be handed everything. I need to try as hard as Futaba's trying. So then she fights back, and she goes into battle, and she wins. And then Futaba's like, look, you could win if you tried. And Karuko's like, I'm going to keep trying because I'm a stage girl now, right?
Nice.
Episode 7. Are you ready, Star, for episode 7?
I am not, but I am, however, lady. So let's fucking
Wahoo.
go.
So episode 7, last 2 episodes, last episode was Karuko. So we're kind of getting like the subunit episodes. This one, it is episode 7, so it's Nana's episode. Nana 7.
Time.
Yeah. And it starts again with last year's Starlight performance. The lines they pick from Starlight kind of mimic what happened with like Futaba and Karuko. So the stage play reflects the pain they feel inside. You know how it is.
Emotional.
Banana's line then comes up after their line, and Banana's line is, quote, "The cycle of despair continues to repeat that which lies below the starlight." So it's like this repeating despair below the starlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the rap party for the 99th festival, their freshman year festival.
And everyone's freestyling.
Everyone's freestyling.
Because it's the rap party.
There you go. Banana takes a ton of pictures on her banana phone. And all the girls are like, Banana, you were the MVP for this freshman Starlight Festival. Whenever we were like having trouble with our lines, you helped us out. You made us all of these banana themed snacks, which like gave us nourishment when we were tired. And then Karen's like, yeah, because at this point they're still calling her Nana, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you gave us these banana nourishments. You're just like a banana yourself. The reason why you're like a banana is because you're sweet, kind, and nourishing. You take care of all of us. So we are going to call you Banana from now on.
Mm-hmm.
And Banana starts crying with joy, and she's like, this was the most unforgettable performance of my life. I was born on stage when we did Starlight together. That's what gives me my shine, is that first Starlight. And everyone's saying I'm like a banana.
I just love bananas so much.
I just love bananas so much. Then they become second year students. You see a lot of this from Banana's perspective. So it's like, she's known for taking pictures of everyone all the time. So a lot of like the shots are like through her phone screen lens, her banana phone.
Mm-hmm. Ring, 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 click. Banana cam.
But immediately as the new year starts, she finds out 2 of the classmates from last year have dropped out because the school's so hard. So she's like, oh, this sucks. I was hoping that we, because we get to do Starlight every year, I was hoping we have a performance that's like the same as last year because it was amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, she's just like going on, even though she's tall and very skilled. Maya specifically realizes that Banana's holding back. And she's like, you got to try hard. Like, I know you have the skill. It feels like you're just holding back because you're everyone's banana and you don't want to make anyone upset. But to be a stage girl is like, you got to make people upset sometimes. You got to try hard. It's okay to make people cry. That's show business, baby,
That's show business, baby.
So they also start talking because it's the beginning of the new year, before Hikari and everyone showed up, where like, oh, we're going to do Starlight again. I can't wait to do it and improve on it. And Banana's like, I can't wait for it to be the same as last year. But Karen again is like, no, we got to get better than last year. Like every stage for a stage girl has to be better than the last, right? But then Banana gets a ring phone call, and it's
Ring,
the
ring,
giraffe.
Ring. Giraffe phone.
So she is underground. When Banana's on stage in her performance, all of the stage lights are like bright yellow, so like a banana.
She just commits to her bits. So she's got one thing, and she just goes so hard.
She goes so hard. And she's underground, and she's talking to the giraffe, and it's basically like her invitation with the giraffe. And the giraffe is like, hey, you want to join my auditions, kid? And she's like, I mean, why would I want to do that, right? Like, what is this? What is this underground arena? And here you get some tiny bit of explanation where the giraffe is like, these are where my auditions are held. The winner gets this crown of starlight, and whoever gets it gets to like perform as a top star on any stage they want, like at any performance they want, and they'll be the top star. And also, the stage you're on reacts to the shine of the girl. So like however like bright the flame of being a theater girl glows in the hearts, the better they can do at combat and weapons and stage play. So like that's why combat, I guess, makes sense, is because it's like the stage and the play reacting to like their fiery soul.
And we're getting this explanation in episode 7.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Episode 7's like one of the it's I feel like Revue Starlight, it's weird to explain like auditorially, but it actually is done pretty well. I'm a fan of the show. I'll put it here. Episode 7 also. It's done really well, and the plots are introduced in a way where like it's like one of those things where like I watched it through and then I went back to take notes, and I'm like, oh, they were hinting at a lot of this stuff a while ago, right?
Nice,
So
nice.
this is kind of like it reacts, but like they're saying it by now because if you didn't get it by now, you need to know it by now, right?
Fair enough.
And then Banana's like, so you said if I win, I can be on any stage I want. And Giraffe's like, yep, any stage. And she's like, any stage? And he's like, yep, any stage. And then she's like, yep, I'll do the audition. And then you get a montage of Banana kicking ass at her auditions, right? And she even beats Tendo Maya. And Maya's like, whoa, what happened? You were holding back like above ground stage. Why aren't, like, you're really good. Like, what the hell, right? And so then, beating Tendo Maya, she wins the audition. The audition that all of them have been in, like Karen, Hikari, all of them, right? She wins the audition. And the giraffe is like, well, you won. What stage do you want to perform on? And Nana's like, I want to perform on the 99th year Starlight stage. And then we get our time bullshit.
There's the time bullshit. I was like, I know it has something to do with Banana, but I don't remember enough.
Yes. So basically, what happens is Banana goes back in time, and the cycle repeats over and over again because she keeps winning the next year because she keeps wishing to go back to the previous year, right? And it's implied that Banana's done this like a lot, right? Meanwhile, none of the other girls realize what's happening because, like, why would they, right? But then one time in one of these performances, she wins, and then all of a sudden there's a dagger on position 0, and you know it's Hikari's dagger. And Banana looks like at the shadowy figure in the distance and is like, what's this? This has never happened before. Right?
That's new.
And then the next loop starts, and this loop kind of repeats episode 1, where like things happening the same, and then Hikari shows up, and the Banana thinks to herself, this is weird, this girl's never shown up before, so like Hikari showing up is something new.
She's the Homura, kind of.
She's the Homura, kind of, sort of. And then you see Banana looking out at a red sunset lit hall, right? Like it's really dark and red. And she's like, I wonder if the giraffe thought having the same stage over and over is really boring, and that's why he brought Hikari in. But I know she'll succeed, and I'm already friends with Hikari, so I'll just win again, but bring Hikari back with me in each time loop, right? And then she looks directly at the camera, and she's like, I want her in my stage too.
right?
And there's no one there. It's her looking at camera very intentionally.
Fourth wall break.
Yep, because she's Banana and she can break the fourth wall. Episode 8.
Oh, okay.
Episode 8, we get a flashback with Hikari.
Okay.
And this time it is like the year before, same year that Banana had her best performance. Hikari was in school in London, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like some narration about like her reading Karen's letters, because I guess when they like were friends, they made a whatever promise to be on stage together. And then the deal was that Karen would write Hikari letters, but Hikari would never answer the letters. She would just read them. So like there's narration of like Karen being like, I'm at this school, we're performing Starlight, it's the best. And meanwhile, Hikari is at her school in London, this like famous international theater school, and she's doing great. And she's like, in her head, she's like, I can't wait to show Karen how good I got so we can reach our promise together and shine together on stage. I love Karen so much. Mm-hmm. So at this point, a year before, good thoughts about Karen, super happy, right? Mm-hmm. So she starts saying that she won't settle, she'll be stronger than ever. And then we get like a further flashback to like Hikari and Karen when they were kids. Some more insight on what their promise was, which is both of them when they were little, they saw the performance of Starlight together and they're like, that's going to be us one day. But then Hikari had to go to London because of her family moving because they were only 5 and she doesn't have a say in the matter. And then Karen's like, and so then they're like, well, let's make a promise. And so they both go to Tokyo Tower after Starlight and they buy hair clips and they give them to each other. And they're like, this is a symbol of our promise, which is one day when we're reunited, it'll be on stage and we'll be able to perform in that Starlight we saw that both inspired us. And this is like our deep connection, right?
Cute. Also, wait, well, hold on. Didn't you say that Hikari had like the little hair clips that looked like 2 stars?
Yes.
I get that symbolism. Oh, that's adorable.
So yeah, they exchange their hair clips and they're like, this one day we're gonna reunite. And Karen's like, is that a promise? And then the thing that repeats is Hikari's like, it's more than a promise, it's our destiny. Like, this is our destiny to happen. Don't worry, Karen, right?
No.
And then we go back to like the middle. So we're a series of flashbacks. We went really deep. Now we're less deep. Hikari is back in her first year of like school in this London school. And she's working harder than ever because she's like, I need to become a top star, because she's been reading Karen's letters, because she's like, I know Karen's trying hard too. We're almost at that future together. Like, we're almost there. I can taste it. When she gets a phone notification. And she goes underground of her London school.
A whoa?
And the giraffe is there. And there is a stage. And instead of the stage being straddled by the Tokyo Tower, it's straddled by the London Bridge. So different stage, same giraffe.
Okay.
He starts explaining things in English, but then Hikari speaks Japanese. He's like, oh, I can speak Japanese too, right? And then he explains the conditions for the review, which is whoever wins is going to be the top star, and she can perform on any stage she wants, right? So it's everything we found out about last time. And Hikari is like, well, yeah, I want to be top star, because once I'm top star, I can perform with Karen wherever the hell I want, right? And the stage she can pick could be the stage with Karen. She's like, perfect, ideal, let's do it. And so she starts finding her way up the top. Every so occasionally, and this is in like the Seisho school too, there's like a leaderboard so you can see like who's towards the top. And Hikari ends up being second place at this London school when she's in her last performance, and then she loses. The main girl cuts off her button. Hikari lost in London, right? And then the next day, she's in classes in London. And she's seeing Judy, the girl who won, and she's shining so brightly. And everyone's like, wow, wonder what happened to Judy. She's amazing. She's definitely a top star now. But Karen's like, Judy's amazing. I feel nothing, right? And she's going around like, I don't feel anything anymore. She's like, I used to feel like euphoric and excited to be on stage, but like, I don't feel anything anymore. And she's like, I don't have my shine anymore. What happened to it? I can't even remember why I went on stage in the first place, right?
That's kind of dark.
And then she's like musing to herself about stuff. There's a point where she like walks into a natural history museum and she's sitting like in front of a giraffe skeleton. And then she like puts her hand towards her hair clip and she's like, "Oh yeah, Karen. I forgot about Karen and our promise." And she's like, "Why did I forget my promise? That doesn't make any sense. This was my whole motivation, right?" And then she's like, "Wait a second. This all happened after the audition." So then she goes to confront the giraffe and she's like, "What happened to me? Why don't I have like this motivation anymore?"
It's the accident that makes the girl in Starlight lose her memory. Oh, shit.
And the giraffe is like, "Well, to create a top star like Judy requires a whole lot of fuel."
Oh, this is fucked.
And then Karen's like, or not Karen, Hikari's like, "Oh, wait, the fuel to make a top star is the shine and energy from all the other girls in the audition. Like, we lost, so therefore we lost everything when we lost."
Damn.
And then the giraffe is like, "Huh, I wasn't expecting you to like remember like why you had motivation, and it seems like you're still like a tiny bit motivated, even though not as much as before. So guess, you know what? I'm gonna give you a second chance. I'm gonna give you a chance to get your shine back." And Hikari is basically like, "Yeah, give me anything. I need to have my motivation back. I need to have my shine back." And he's like, "Well, I'll send you to Japan. We're about to have an audition there." So that's what happened. And that's how Hikari ended up in Japan.
That whole concept is wild, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig that, honestly. It's pretty cool. It's like terrifying, but very cool.
Yeah, especially when you mentioned about like the Homer and Madoka thing. I'm like, this feels very like, especially spoilers for the Madoka movie, but it feels very Madoka movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
So then we cut to present day. And present day, it is now the audition between Banana and Hikari. So, like, the last 2 episodes culminating into this. And there's stuff that happens in between, but, like, that's the big thing that's happening now. And Banana's like, "Hey, I see that you're distressed about something. You're worried about losing your shine. But don't worry. I'm going to make it all okay. I'm going to take you back with me and we can keep repeating the most joyous stage together forever," right? There'll be no despair. And she talks about how, like, Starlight, the story we had mentioned at the beginning, is a sad story. But even though that's a sad story, don't worry, we don't have to say goodbye like Flora and whatever her name is, Flora and Claire.
Flora and the other.
Yeah, like those forever long ago Star Warses.
The sleepy one. I don't remember.
We will not have a sad Star Wars story. We're going to have a good Star Wars story and we're going to repeat it over and over. Don't worry. Just, give up and it'll be fine, right?
Yep.
But Hikari's like, "No, I can't give up because I need that, the part of the shine that I lost, I need it back. And also, I can't let you take it away from me. Like, I don't want that stolen from me, right?" And she's like, "Also, if you take it back, it's just the same thing over and over again. But, like, I made a promise to Karen that we are going to, like, shine together on stage with Starlight. And if it's just me keep coming back in this loop, like, at this point, Karen and I are never going to do Starlight together. And we can't have that, right?" And then she beats Banana. She takes out Banana, right? And then Banana's like, after the stage, she's like, you shouldn't have done that. Starlight is a sad ending. Like, you and Karen are going to get split apart. And Hikari's like, "Well, I'm still going to try, right? Like, I still made this promise. There's always a miracle that can happen." Episode 9.
Whew.
So, episode 9, all of the girls get the new script for the 100th Starlight, right? So, this script is like the same story of Starlight, but it was slightly modified. There's also a point afterwards where, like, Karen's like, "Wow, this is modified. I wonder what the original story is like." And Hikari's like, "Actually, I have a book which is the original story." And this is where you get the whole Starlight story laid out, like, front to end, right? So you're like, okay, that's the whole pieces when they're all together.
So wait. wait, hold on though. So Karen is the one who is like, wow, I wonder what Starlight's like, or is it somebody different? That
Well, no. Karen's more like so basically Hikari, they're talking about the script and its changes. And then Hikari is like, well, actually, I have the original story. So I guess Starlight was based off a book.
Okay, because I was like, didn't they see it as kids?
Yes,
That's what,
they
like,
did.
their thing, so she should know the plot already.
Yes. So, but apparently this is like an old fairy tale or something. So Hikari's like, let me tell you the fairy tale. Notably, the fairy tale book she has is written in English, so Hikari has to translate for Karen, right? So it's just like a little bonding moment there.
Cute.
Meanwhile, Banana's having a hard time, right?
Understandable.
Because she thought she was going to go back in time and do this whole thing again and it'd be all okay because she could be with everyone forever, and now she can't. And more than that, they just handed out the scripts for the 100th Starlight for the first time in any of her cycles, and it's different than before, and she's like, I don't want it to be different, I want the same thing over and over again, right?
Yep, Banana's gonna turn into the ultimate antagonist.
So like you get a lot of shots of her like walking around the school and like reminiscing on how the way things used to be, right? And being like, there's no way it can ever be as good again. That was like the best moment of my entire life, and now it's gone forever, right? And then she's in like the prop room, and there's like that tower that shows up on all the stages, which is also like the tower from Starlight. And Juna shows up, and Banana's just looking at the sad tower. And she's like, hey, Banana, what's up, right? And then Banana's like, I just wanted to protect everyone's time together, and that's why I kept choosing the repeat performance of the stage, is I wanted to protect everyone. And Juna's like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the giraffe thing? And the Banana's like, oh yeah, we haven't fought yet in this cycle. And you're like, oh, hey.
Yikes.
And then she just kind of goes on about like how great it would be if this could go on forever. But then like everything got weird when Hikari got transferred. And like, I don't know what to do. Everything's different now. I am so sad and scared of the future. And the next Starlight we perform, the 100th Festival, is going to be new, and it's new for me. And that Starlight is not going to be the Starlight that is my Starlight anymore. And she's starting to cry. And then she's like, I won't let anyone beat me this time. I will win the auditions, right?
Ooh. Gung-ho Banana.
Gung-ho Banana. And then she gets a notification about the next audition. So she's still in the running, and she's like, I'm going to beat this one. I'm going to beat everyone. I'm going to win the audition. And she starts going to her audition, and she starts thinking back about the cycle, and she's like, yeah, everything changed when Hikari came. And then she's like, wait a second. And she's like, brain moment. She's like, wait a second. In the other auditions, there were only 8 girls who participated, and there's only 8 main stage roles. But with Hikari coming in, there's been 9, and Karen was the one who was kicked off the board. Also, in all of the previous auditions, Karen was the first one out. She always was never good enough. Wait a second, what if Hikari is not the reason why all of this changed, but the combination of Hikari and Karen together, right? So it's just more like their weird combined motivation and shine changes things. And then it is time for Karen and Banana to face off underground. Underground fight.
Fight-o!
And basically the like their talking, singing plot together is Banana's like, hey Karen, why don't you want me to win? Starlight is a sad story. Why do you want to perform Starlight? It always ends up with the girls sad and apart from each other. And Karen's like, no, even though it has a sad ending, stage girls keep improving. A sad ending isn't like the end. We go back on stage, we do better the next time. That's why this can't go on in a forever cycle, because stage girls are always growing. And if we stay stagnant, we can't be stage girls anymore.
大切に守っていたいだけ大切に出会って私たちは強くなる
And so then in the end, Banana's like, no, why won't you submit, basically. But Karen's like, I can't. We need to move forward towards our dreams, and I need to share a stage with Hikari. And then beats Banana, right? So Banana lost finally. That was her last chance, and she is not going to win this cycle.
Rip.
After the auditions, Banana's like sitting outside despondent, like really sad. And Juna's sitting with her. And Juna's like, I heard about the whole protect stage thing and finding the stage, and I put the pieces together. You did all of this for us, right? This wasn't a selfish thing. She's like realizing that Banana did it to protect everyone. And Banana's like, but I failed. I can't protect you now. We're going to just have a sad ending. Everything's going to suck because it's different. But then Juna starts pulling out, she's the studious one, so she starts like quoting a bunch of philosophers about like how you shouldn't give up and like even though like tomorrow's scary, it's worth it, right? And then Banana just keeps asking for more and more quotes when finally Juna's like, I'm still gonna do it. I'm gonna reach my own star. And Banana's like, whose quote was that? And Juna's like, it's mine. So it's like Juna's little character growth.
Cute.
But then Banana's like, you're right. I've been really arrogant. I wasn't trusting everyone. Like, honestly, ever since Hikari showed up, things were different, but like they were different in a good way, and I actually liked it. She's like, I just got scared that the repeat performance wouldn't keep happening and things would change in a bad way. But I guess, like, even the last few months, I've realized change isn't always bad.
Yeah.
And then Juna's like, look at you. You're a stage girl, too. You're always thinking about ways to change and how it could be better. You're not that different from all of us after all, Banana.
That's cute.
Yeah. And then Banana starts crying and she's like, I'm sorry about everything. And Juna's like, it's okay.
It's not like I can remember all the repeat performances.
Yeah.
That's just on you.
And then she's like holding on to her script for like the 99th performance, like the original script. And she's like, what do I do with this script? Like, I don't need it. Like, we have a new script now. Like, should I just throw it away? And Juna's like, you don't throw it away, you take it with you. So it's like, you take on the past to your future. And I think it was very sweet. Yes. Episode 10, we're almost done.
Let's go, stage girls.
Let's go, stage girls. So then it is the final day of underground auditions. All the girls are talking about how it's the final day of auditions. They all discuss what's happening. Most of the time they're eating various banana snacks. So Banana's back at being her old banana self, right? Mm-hmm. We see a talk between Claudine and Maya about like how being the top star is the most important thing. And like Maya's always been number one and Claudine's always been number two. And when Claudine first met Maya, she thought she could beat her, but like is only number two, but still like sees Maya as this driving force that'll inspire her to be better. And Maya's like, and even though I'm number one and you've been number two, I have to keep on my toes because you're really good. So you inspired me in my own way because I knew if I slacked at all, I would drop. There's also like a little thing where like Karen and Hikari go on another date to Tokyo Tower and they talk about how their destinies are intertwined. There's a cute like little scene where they reiterate their promises to each other, but like each cut, like it's like old Hikari getting like told her promise by like young Karen and young Karen to older Hikari. It's very much like past present thing.
Mm-hmm. Time fuckery. But I think this is meant definitely more to be like in their hearts, their young promise, right? Yeah.
And they're also talking about how their destinies are intertwined and they're going to reach the star together. And then it's time for the final auditions.
Let's go.
All the girls go down the elevator, but only 4 girls end up on stage. The other ones are stuck in the audience. The 4 on stage are Maya, Claudine, Karen, and Hikari. And everyone else is on the sides. Banana was kind enough to pack everyone banana bento boxes, so they do have snacks while they watch the show. And the giraffe is like, well, because we had an extra supplies applicant, which is Karen, we're going to do this final audition in a different way, which is instead of it being like a one-on-one performance, we are going to have a 2-on-2 duet performance. And the top 2 performers right now are Maya and Hikari, so each of you get to pick who your partner is. And of course, Maya picks Claudine and Hikari picks Karen, because why wouldn't they?
Yep.
And basically, Karen and Hikari's motivation is like, we're going to beat you because we're going to do Starlight together on stage, and our bond is so strong. And then Maya and Claudine are like, we're going to beat you because each of us has our own goals and motivations, but we're going to use that to win. And even though there can only be one stage girl, we still like understand each other perfectly, right? At first, Maya and Claudine are dominating. There's definitely a part where like they're holding on to each other and they're talking about how well they know each other because they're always been like number one and number two and paired up together. And they're like, you know, like we're so in sync because we're in love, basically. But Hikari and Karen are absolutely in unity, like not just a little bit like tense unity. They are like the same destiny, same shine, same person.
負けないで二人は未来を見捨てないで立ち上がれ二人は何度傷ついても歌いに生かされている切っ先に栄光を止まれ
And then with perfect singing unity, Karen takes out Maya by pulling her button. And she gets position 0 because the rules are if one person's button falls, then that team loses. It doesn't have to be both of them. It's just one of them. So Maya was taken out by Karen.
Oh shit.
The audience is absolutely impressed. Karen is overjoyed. Claudine specifically gets really upset. She's the one who still had her jacket. And she's like, no, Maya didn't lose, I lost. And she like rips off her own button. She's like, I didn't support Maya well enough. That's why I lost. I wasn't a good enough like second in command. Don't let Maya lose. Take me out instead. But Maya's like, no, it's okay. like we can do this again. And hey, we still have, you know, the above ground Starlight auditions. We'll get our revenge. We'll go back on stage. A stage girl never gives up. We can do this again, right? And they also like, it's kind of cute because Maya's like talking to Claudine and she's like, I know I can be even stronger with you. You motivate me every day. Again, I'm only so good because I want to be the best and you're so good. And because you're so good, I have to like keep training and you motivate me and you're my rival. But she says all this in French. So it's very much like they're talking to each other and only each other. But Karen and Hikari have won in episode
Nice.
10.
Oh.
And then the stage rises in the air, and the giraffe says, the review of tragedy will now commence. Because
Hello?
Hikari realizes it. Oh, there can only be one winner after all. And then Hikari turns to Karen, and they're both about to fight. And she's like, Karen, you motivated me. You're the reason for my shine. You're the only reason why I'm here. I only had shine because I wanted to do Starlight with you. Without you, I'm nothing. And so she reaches forward and cuts off Karen's button. And Karen falls off the stage, you know, falling down Tokyo Tower like in the earlier episode.
No.
And she's like, and that's why I have to say goodbye.
Betrayal.
Episode 11.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't imagine watching this seasonally with one episode a week.
Yeah, because like, what the fuck is gonna happen for 2 episodes now?
So at the opening of the episode, the giraffe is congratulating Hikari, and he's like, you did it! You can be top star. What stage do you want to perform on? And Hikari says, I don't need it. I don't need to be top star. I don't need fuel. Just like, don't give me the crown. I won, but give all the girls their shine back. And Giraffe is like, so, but you're still the top star no matter what, and that takes a lot of fuel. So you want to do this with your own fuel? Like, usually you need all these other girls' fuel, but I guess you're going to try on your own. That's going to suck for you. You're going to, like, you're not going to succeed that way. But Hikari's like, you wanted something unpredictable on stage, so here we are. I'm sacrificing myself so the other girls don't lose their memories, especially Karen, who I love, right?
Interesting.
And then it is the next day of school above ground. And immediately there's a buzz because Hikari has dropped out of the school. And Karen is like so upset. She's like, what happened? Why isn't Hikari here? She goes around and tries to figure it out. She ends up talking to the teacher who says, oh, Hikari dropped out of the school. And she like shows the paperwork of her dropout forms. And the thing that's wild is like the seal is like Hikari's family seal saying she dropped out, but next to her family seal is like that giraffe icon like as a seal, and you're like, okay. But Karen continues to go around. She tries to call Hikari. Hikari doesn't answer. She like goes to the police, but the police are like, we can't do anything. She dropped out normally. She goes to like when she goes to her room, she realizes Hikari left her suitcase there. And inside the suitcase is that Starlight book, like the one that like she was explaining is the whole plot of Starlight. And she's like, Hikari would never leave this. This is really weird. Something's wrong. Mm-hmm. As the time goes by and she's like, can't find Hikari, like a few days go by. And Karen just like is in classes, but she just like doesn't got it, right? Like she used to have like a castrol or like was in the gunning for castrals based off of above ground auditions. But she's like, half-hearted in her classes, she's not doing good. And then she starts monologuing to herself and she's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like I don't have my motivation anymore. Like I used to feel encouraged and enthusiastic to be on stage, but now I don't feel it anymore. Like the same words as Hikari in London, right? And then she thinks about what Hikari said about how she could lose the thing that's most important to a stage girl if she does these underground auditions. And she's like, well, the most important thing to me as a stage girl is Hikari. And I lost her. So yeah, I did lose the most important thing to me. Which is like, it's kind of explained later where like, even though the fuel of the shine was returned to everyone, Karen's shine was linked to Hikari's. And with Hikari gone, Karen doesn't have her shine anymore.
Because they are tied together through
Because they're tied together through destiny. And then Karen starts thinking about how Hikari is her shine, right? She's like, well, the only thing I have Hikari that's left is this book that's Starlight. But it's in English, and I don't even understand it. But maybe if I can translate it, I can start to understand what Hikari was thinking with all of this, right? Mm-hmm. So she starts translating the book to Japanese. And then, like, this translation looks like it takes place over a long period of time. So you get lots of different cuts, some seasons and weather changing, right?
Mm-hmm. Girl, just use Google Translate.
I know, right? But then she gets to the last page of the book, and it is a different ending than what the play has. So she's like, wait, what's this? This is a different ending. And the ending says that Claire, the girl who was left behind at the top, who suddenly had her memories back, was, instead of it just ending there, it's like, and then she was imprisoned forever in the tower, the end, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, wait, there's this other chapter. There's Claire in the tower. Like, what's going on? And she's like, wait a second. Hikari is Claire, right? And so then she runs to the school with a crowbar, pries open the elevator, just like Hikari did earlier. And then she starts like going down into the stage, but like instead of the elevator, she's walking down a long staircase. As she walks down the staircase, the other stage girls show up, like using weird stage props and like offering her encouragement and being like, bring Hikari back safe, like, and in their own ways talk about their own character development, right? Mm-hmm. And then she walks into like a theater in the theater, and she arrives on an empty stage. And the big stage is like this big round stage, again, Tokyo Tower above. And then there's the T-shaped position 0. And on top of the T-shaped position 0 is Hikari's phone, and it's plugged into the stage. And just like, you know, like that scene in the Antarctica anime, but it's like all the text messages Hikari has been sending her start popping up.
Oh, no.
And then she's like, goes to pick up the phone, and the phone, like, it cuts, and it's like, instead of picking up the phone, she's picked up a ticket. Because there's like a weird dream logic here, right? Mm-hmm. And then she looks forward, and ahead of her is the tower from the Starlight play, and she walks in. Episode 12!
Oh, shit!
So, back above ground, all the other girls are like making dinner, and they're like happy and cheery, and they're like, I can't wait to have dinner with everyone, including Karen and Hikari. Karen's gonna save her. So they're like business as normal above, but weird stuff is happening underground.
Yeah.
Then we go back to Hikari. Hikari is in like this endless pink desert void, right? She's like wearing a white dress. There's Tokyo Tower in the distant background, but it's like completely like fallen over, like it's flat, right? And in this desert wasteland, Hikari is by herself, and she's just repeating the lines to the Starlight play that we've heard before in each of the episodes over and over again, while she's digging in the sand for like these stone-shaped stars, and then piling the stars up to make this tower to try to reach like the stars in the sky, right? But every time she tries to reach the stars in the sky actually come down to her and like a wrecking ball knock the tower over, and she falls over again, and then repeats over and over. So it shows her repeating a few times, right?
Oh.
And then the giraffe is like monologuing to itself, like Hikari is like on the stage that never ends because she took on all the stage herself. This is the atonement of a stage girl that must die. This is the path she chose. So it's like very like, oh, she chose this dark path. But then Karen shows up because she came in with her ticket. And she's like, starts talking to Hikari like, I'm sorry I left you and stuff. But Hikari answers with like the script that she's been repeating over and over. But like it's in such a way it kind of makes sense. So then Karen starts trying to help Hikari with making the tower. But Hikari just continues. The tower gets knocked over again. And Karen's like, this is really sad. I wish you didn't have to experience this for all of us. I know you're trying to atone for all of our sins. Which they bring up the sins thing at this point, which I'm like, okay.
Okay.
But don't forget, our promise, our Starlight hasn't started yet. You didn't, like, you winning, that's not the end. Stage girls can get back up again. Our stage hasn't even started. And then Hikari, who's, like, back in, like, the whole, like, digging up a stone star and making the tower, she starts digging up the stone star, but instead of digging up a stone star, she digs up her star hair clip.
Oh.
And then she's like, stupid Karen, why'd you have to come to me? I would have started to miss you, right? So like talking, again, and like mimicking her time in London where she like was like, don't talk to me because I'll miss you. And then the tower collapses and the giraffe is like, well, they stopped saying their lines. The stage continues, right? And then Hikari is like, well, bye, Karen, and like starts descending below the stage. But then Karen's like, no, you can't give up again. We're gonna be stars together. And then jumps towards Hikari, and then like episode 1, has her magical girl transformation and is like, and then she's like, I'm gonna take you back, Hikari. We can be stage girls together again.
Doll.
And then the review starts again.
私の名はくれるおかしな星積み二人の夢はそう叶わない決して
The two of them start talking like while they're doing the review. And Hikari's like, you shouldn't take me back. I stole the star. I could have stolen everyone's shine. I should know better. This is like, the idea of me wanting to be the best is just a sin, right? Again, a sin thing, whatever. Karen's like, hey, if that's a sin, then every stage girl is guilty. We all want to be the best. Like, just because you knew there were consequences doesn't mean it's not like a metaphor to every time we do a performance, right?
And also, like, she could have just she won to save everyone else. That's like kind of an inherently selfish act or selfless act.
Yep. And then the giraffe is watching. And then the giraffe just starts saying, oh, you don't know why anyone else is watching? Why I'm the only one watching the stage? Well, let me explain. The stage is not just the actors, it's also the spectators. Like, there are two parts to a stage. There's me, and then there's the girls on the stage. And performers can stay on the stage as long as the audience wants them to stay on the stage, so they're dependent on each other. And then he turns directly to the camera.
Of course.
And he says, that's right, you kept watching over these girls this whole time. And we have to let them finish their play. We can't let it end here. Right?
All right, cool.
So...
Don't know how I feel about a giraffe talking to me.
And then Karen, we go back to their performance slash fight with each other, and Karen's like continues on like, we made our promise. You can't perform alone. I can't let this happen. We are gonna go back together. And then Hikari takes off Karen's button,
Oh.
and you're like, oh, Hikari won again. And she's like, I sacrificed myself for this. This is my atonement, which is like the last line of the original Starlight play. And you have a dream, but that dream is impossible. It can't come to be. And then Karen, like, falling while Hikari is, like, continuing her endless performance is like, wait a second. No. And then her hair tie goes back in the furnace, and she gets back on stage. And she's like, hey, we're going to keep fighting, because Starlight is a tragedy, but it doesn't have to end like that. And then she starts narrating her own ending to Starlight, where she's like, and then what happens is that in order to get back to Claire, Flora climbed a tower one more time, right?
Oh, Sarah, I'm getting emotional just listening to you describe this.
It's so good.
I just got a little tingle up my spine, and I'm like,
It's
oh,
so good.
Stage Girls!
And then Hikari's like, no, you can't do this. You're gonna have your shine be stolen. And then Hikari's like, well, then they can take my shine. You can take my shine, because even if my shine is taken, I'm gonna get back on the stage because you are my shine, right? So as long as we're with each other, it'll be reignited. I can like make infinite fuel, basically, infinite energy. And then she's like, I'm gonna take you back. And then, like, the big I am reborn sign, the little cut-in shows up behind her. And then Tokyo Tower bursts through the stage she's on, making a bridge between her stage and Hikari's stage. So they're not on separate stages anymore. And the giraffe is like, wow, this is incredible. Wakarimasu, right? And Karen starts, like, crossing the Tokyo Tower as a bridge, singing at her. 'Hikari's like, well, like, Bakuren, stupid Karen, you've convinced me. I even though I said this is my sin, I gotta be selfish. I want to do Starlight with you again, right? And then the stage changes, and now it's titled New Chapter, Drama Starlight. And the two take to the stage together, and instead of it being like a full-on fight, they're like twirling at each other and like actually dancing each other.
君はそばにいたずっと望んでいた星は二人のスターライ
Karen's like, you're gonna do Starlight with me. And then Hikari says, I want to see you take away my everything. You're like, oh,
Okay.
that's gay. And then they start fighting, singing their duet. But this time, Karen takes the button from Hikari, and Karen wins. And then they start talking to each other, and Hikari was like, Karen, you were the star I was searching for the whole time. Like mimicking her searching in the ground for a star. And Karen's like, do you remember the promise we made? Hikari says, I remember. And then it ends with both of them laying on the ground on the stage, and they're holding hands, and their hands are on position 0. So, like, they're holding hands together on position 0. And then we get credits. Over credits, like it's singing, credits are rolling. But you see their 100th performance of Starlight. This time, Hikari and Karen are our main girls, right? But the ending is different, because in this one, Banana has a role, which she's not a goddess. She's just like a new character. So it's like an addition to Starlight. And she said, you found a way to set all of the goddesses free. You did it. So it's like happy ending for Starlight.
No.
And then it's the end. We see like the girls taking the stage, like, let's go back on stage. And then the end.
Oh, that's so cute, though.
But I have an addition, an addendum.
Oh, okay.
So anime came out, I think 2 years ago, like 2018. Last year.
Sarah, 2018 was 4 years
Oh,
ago.
4 years ago. Sorry. I think it came out in a while ago.
A while ago,
Yeah, no,
okay.
what happens though is last year a sequel movie came out.
Ooh.
And 5 days ago, they had a limited release in U.S. theaters.
Did you go see it?
And guess who last minute went and saw it? It was Sarah.
Oh my god! Sarah, I'm starting to think that, like, us not being able to do this episode pre-MomoCon, it was destiny.
It was destiny. It was our fate, just like Hikari and Karen together.
Oh
And-
shit, because not only did we get to do the gayest episode during Pride Month, I gotta know what happened during this movie.
So the movie, I don't want to do an episode on it because it gets so all the weird parts from the anime. It's like all weird parts. Like there's a part where Banana completely like slaughters the whole cast of girls, and they hold their dead bodies, being like, "Well, here we are."
Like, wait, like actually?
Yes.
Banana is.
I told you
I made
there's murder.
a joke about second-degree murder earlier
I know.
in the
That's why I
podcast.
said well.
Oh no!
But then she's like, "Don't worry, it's stage blood." But then the girls are holding their lifeless corpses, like their own lifeless corpses. Like, but it's. I think that my understanding of the plot of the Revue Starlight movie, because the whole thing's a weird fucking metaphor, is they're all third years and they're coming up with their plans for like after school, and it's a lot of like the pairs are going to their own separate places and saying goodbye to each other and saying goodbye to their past selves. I guess. It's so weird. It's gayer than the show, I promise you that. It's absolutely worth it. If you like this weird premise, if you've seen Revue Starlight, you can go watch the movie because I gave you a refresher just now. If you haven't seen Revue Starlight, but you feel like you got enough from this refresher, but you want to see the movie, there also is like a summary movie that came out. And I think that one is on High Dive. I could be wrong. So you can watch the summary and then the movie, but the movie is worth it. I don't know how to explain it in podcast form because it's so visual. Like, it's more visual than this one, and it's more weird metaphors, and none of it happens in the sensible timeline. But it's very gay.
That's all I need.
It's very gay. Warning, it gets full horror sometimes, I guess, if that wasn't clear enough. There's a jump scare with the giraffe. It's wild.
Hello?
I read a tweet about it where after the movie ended, some guy started clapping and shouted Happy Pride Month. So, Happy Pride Month.
Fucking incredible. We love to see it.
As Hatsune Miku says, and star.
Shout out to the gays.
So, Revue Starlight, not an idol anime, buck wild, still has singing and theater girls, and it's a Bushiro, so...
So close
enough. As close as Gibbon was.
Sarah, I don't know what you're talking about because obviously every single show we've watched has had the part where the girls jump off of Tokyo Tower and their destinies are intertwined. It's like, so, nope, yeah, another bingo card. Starla makes a Kingdom Hearts reference.
What?
I've been trying to squeeze in a Palproof fruit joke for like the entire second half of this episode, and I just couldn't. There was just never a good opportunity.
That's
fair.
fair.
I mean, there were many good opportunities, and I squandered all of them, so that's why I'm saying it here at the end.
I was thinking, like, I need to find a place to talk about how they're doing Revue Starlight, but it's not the Starlight Express, but...
Choo-choo!
In summary, Revue Starlight is wild. I feel like Banana's my best girl. I get her.
I mean, honestly, I feel like that's the only correct answer at this point.
Yeah, but also, like, I feel like here's Sarah getting real. My biggest fear is fear of change and, like, the unknown and future, and I could hard relate to her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big relate.
Pat's my Sarah from a long distance away.
Also, going back to it, Revue Starlight does have a mobile game, and apparently there are other schools in the mobile game and more girls.
Oh, well, yeah, because...
Bushiroad.
A mobile game with Bushiroad, yeah. Bushimo, more girls!
If it is buck wild as the anime and the movie, like, I don't understand how a mobile plot can be sustainable like that, and I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Was it ever put into English?
I don't know. I don't want to look it up. I'm frightened.
Sarah, you can't stay scared of the unknown. You have to. You can't just repeat the same thing. You have to move forward, Sarah.
So, Star, if people want to find us on social media, where can they find us?
We're on Instagram at IDOLDaysPod. Twitter and Instagram, IDOLDAYSPOD. Sarah, what's our website?
Our website is idolluminati.net or idoldays.card.co. That's idoldays.carrd.co. There you can find some episode summaries, some links to where you can stream our podcast, also some little hidden spoilers, and on both our social media and our website, you can find links to our Discord.
Join us on Discord. We're chilling. We talk about iDOL.
Yes. Tell us what you think is a metaphor in Revue Starlight.
Tell us what you think is a metaphor in real life.
Yes, absolutely. So, this has been Idol Days.
We've
been Lady. See you next live. Bye. It's horrible. I would cosplay Banana, but she's the tallest, and I am the shortest.
Listen, Sarah, you and I in college once joked about how we were going to cosplay Full Metal Alchemist,
Yes,
and you
true.
very specifically wanted to cosplay Alex Louise Armstrong by sitting on my shoulders
pretty good.
and making a muscle suit that would contain both of us, and I would just see out of his nipples.
Ooh, so you're going to say you're going to be Banana's nipple? Actually, let's cut this.
That's not what I was going to say at all. Don't. And if you cut this, you're a coward.